Welcome to Divine Conversations podcast, a space where faith meets real life and community stories lead the way. We're here to lift up the voices of BIPOC families navigating housing, healing, mental health, and so much more. Whether you're a parent, a provider, or someone walking alongside our communities, you belong here. Each episode, we share honest conversations, resources, and real stories of resilience. Together, we're creating a space for healing, hope, and divine conversations, where healing begins and stories rise.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We are really excited to have this conversation with you. And I think this will be a conversation that just for years to follow, our families can look back on and listen to, and we'll be sending it out too. So I'm really excited to sit down with you all and just thank you for your time. So, well, I think I want to open I'll start with you, Christopher, and just tell us about your background and just the work that you're doing right now.
So my day job is over at the Northland Small Business Development Center. And if you're not familiar with small business development centers, they're a nationwide program.
Okay.
They're administered by the Small Business Administration. So we provide technical assistance and guidance to help small businesses start, grow, and succeed.
That's amazing.
But my background and what I brought to today's conversation is in personal finance. So prior to my current position, I was a financial advisor. I have experience in banking and also in tax preparation. I used to volunteer for a Vita site at Community Action Duluth.
Yeah.
And prepared taxes for low-income families for about 4 or 5 years and really got the ins and outs of finance and some really good mentorship from Julia Chang. If she's watching, I hope she gets a shout out and the appreciation she deserves because the information that lady encouraged me to obtain has changed my life pretty significantly.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. Lavata, welcome.
Hey. So I've been in banking, specifically mortgage banking, since 2009. So right after the crisis or during the big crisis of 2008. I currently work with Divine Konnections as financial manager, and I am also a mortgage broker.
Okay.
So.
Thank you. I think did you want to go? I do have one question. So I'm always really curious for people who come into the financial space. Like, what has your relationship been like? Like, what kind of brought you to this point of saying, I want to get into financial supporting those in finance who needs financial support? But like, what's been your relationship like with money and finances in your own life? And that's
Do you want to go first?
a personal question, but I'm just curious what your answer is.
For me, I think it's something that just chose me. So I remember I was just looking for a job, and I was just applying to all of these jobs. And right out of high school, I moved to Texas, and I got a job at a bank.
Okay.
It was First National Bank in Fort Hood, Texas, or Killeen, Texas. And I just started to grow and progress, and I really enjoyed it, and I just stayed in that vein. But growing up, we didn't really know or talk much about money in my household. So we were really carefree. But when I became an adult and I realized, like, oh my goodness, my mom was going through all of this by herself.
Oh, wow.
I wish she knew what I know. But now my goal is to make sure that my children know just how to handle money, how to make it stretch when you don't have enough, how to make it grow to save for your future, and how to use real estate to grow financially as well.
I'm going to double on all of that. So I watched my single mother raise us and not know what I know now. But what brought me to finance was necessity. Okay. So I was a pretty bad behaved child. But I did end up going to college, which we'll probably get into later. But I graduated from college with $89,000 in student loan debt. And when you're starting off, you're coming from a poor background and you're looking at that big, ridiculous number. It's like, what the hell do I do now?
Yeah.
Right.
And so you got to have a plan. And I knew that the people that were in my surroundings didn't have the answers to the questions that I needed to be answered. So I had to start looking elsewhere. So it was just out of necessity.
And that's such a common thing. I mean, for students, like I have college debt. So many of us have that and don't know what to do with it. So we just put it on the back burner
Right.
and just hope it works itself out sometimes.
Until you get the garnishment letter.
That part.
If you're doing government or nonprofit, otherwise you're doing what I did and paying it all back.
Yep.
Which honestly, I'm hoping that they do some kind of mass like student loan forgiveness personally, from my personal perspective, because I think the student loans are predatory lending.
Yeah.
Like
Definitely.
nowhere else in the world could I go get $100,000, $200,000 of unsecured debt.
Yep.
And the plan is like, I promise I'm gonna get a degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that's the promise.
As an 18-year-old.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you would have to go through more steps to get a loan with my friend here. You would have to go through way more steps as a small business owner to get a loan.
Yep.
So like the fact that student loans are given out like they're candy canes or something is crazy.
Yeah.
I think that you both kind of already alluded to it, that you grew up low income. You were from a single mom, right? And watching whatever. And so what did you witness that made you say that I got to do something different? When it comes to your finances.
So I would say for me, death and loss, and just the family scrounging around to try to find money to bury or cremate or whatever, a family member. And it makes you think like you lived all of these years and you don't have $10,000. I mean, I don't want to sound belittling, but you don't have anything saved, and just having that burden fall on me and my siblings, it was just, it was challenging. And I was like, I don't want to do that to my kids. Of course my community came together to help me with that family member, but I don't want to pass that on to my kids. So that was a big wake up call for me, outside of the day-to-day struggle. But I want to make sure that I live a life that leaves not just money, but the ability to create wealth to my children and my community as well.
Mine was a hard work myth. Like, you can't convince me that my single mother, who had me and my two younger siblings, was not working hard.
Yeah.
She was getting up and she was doing it. She was finding a way every single day. She got her CNA when she got pregnant with me in college.
Yeah.
So as long as I can remember, maybe my whole life, my mom's gotten up before even anybody else in the house. Like, you're talking 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, and she's getting it. But she's not getting paid enough.
Yeah.
To my friend's point, like, she's not getting paid enough to build anything lasting.
Right.
There's no difference between the hours and the dollars. Every hour turns into money, and every dollar gets spent on something that needs to be paid for. And you're watching these decisions on like small things, like, do I get the good brand or the store brand? Do I sign you up for this sport or that sport? Do I pay for house utility or gas for the car? And these type of decisions that are just ridiculous for somebody who's working more than full time, working a full-time job and a part-time job on top of that and raising 3 kids by yourself. It's like the hard work myth is just that, it's a myth. There has to be more than just the effort. I don't think that our community or any community where low-income people are prevalent is lacking intensity.
Right.
Right? We're lacking consistency and we're lacking understanding. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? Like
an opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I want to correct something that I said, because you don't need $10,000 in the bank. Life insurance, small monthly payments towards life insurance, something to help to bury you. It's just the fact that people can't even afford a monthly premium to be able to put themselves or their families in a better situation when they leave, or to be able to leave something. So.
Why do you think when it comes to our community that there's so that there hasn't been generational wealth? I know y'all know.
You ever read The Color of Law?
Exactly.
They outline it step by step.
You want
Let's talk.
Oh yeah, no, I'm curious.
Go ahead.
Oh,
You go first.
yeah, sorry. No, I'm passionate about this one. So Miss Julia Chang recommended this book. She's coming back to me. In the book, they outline it, right? So you have the history of the BIPOC citizens in America, right? The Black and Indigenous. There's a reason that they singled those two nationalities out. And it was because of the American history that is directly correlated to the descendants, right? we were totally kept away from any kind of capitalist participation. So we're living under a capitalist society, but we're not allowed to acquire capital or assets and other resources that would produce wealth that could then be passed on generationally to produce more wealth. Something as simple as owning a home or owning a business or having rights, like women, right? You know, women couldn't own land or rights. That's why on some tribal lands and reservations, white males would have to sign for the land, right?
Yeah.
So that a tribal female could get a portion of the land, probably half or less, because that was the agreement that was made. You know, it's the distorted reality of capitalism in America, and what led us to today is prevalent. All of the resources are there to do the history search. It's not an accident, though.
To add, I'm passionate about this as well. It was designed to be that way. I mean, as African Americans, we weren't even considered people. We were 3/5. Like, we were counted as 3/5. And I mean, we could work. Like, we could work hard. We could do everything we needed to do, and we still be counted out. So from the perspective of home ownership, we were not allowed to purchase homes. And if we were able to make and this is in certain regions, but if we were able to make purchases, it was stuff that people didn't want. So we're always coming from behind, unfortunately. And a lot of families who were able to purchase homes, they would use these homes. They would grow in equity. They would cash out, refinance, send their children to college. That's another form of wealth, because if you had a degree, it is expected that you are able to get a position that pays you quite an amount. And it was just like rinse, cycle, repeat for them. And it wasn't available for us. So we've always been from behind, and it has been designed that way, unfortunately.
And that was regardless of profession, right? So you look at like the GI Bill and other loans that were available for people that were working, and you can see the massive amount of numbers that, okay, we got X amount of Black military members, but only X amount of military VA home loans. Why is that happening for generation and generation?
Or the veterans who would come home and expect those benefits to be available to them. And if you were a person of color and a veteran, it didn't matter. You weren't getting those benefits. So unfortunately, I just can only explain it as it was designed that way. But I mean, it's a lot of people fighting to change. I also think it's a mentality change as well. We have to want to know and grow. You have to know your history first, of course, but then also you have to just try to learn to pivot from that. And I think that we're better together. There's a lot of other communities who were, I would say, historically, for lack of better words, left out, but they've worked their way in or assimilated in some way. I mean, unfortunately, the color of our skin, we're not able to assimilate. Right. But I do think that we're better together. So if we can come together as a community, we can either try to build our own or fight our way through. And I hate to use the word try, but I know that there's been multiple times where we've come together and tried and been knocked down in some kind of way. But I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that we can.
I like that. And coming together even when it's hard. Because, I mean, when you're dealing with people, you're dealing with people.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with people that have been sold lies for so long or have been sold a belief that it just isn't true, maybe it wasn't an intentional lie, they have information that just was bad information, and it's been generation after generation. It's hard to break that. And I can only speak from my own personal experience, right? I grew up in rural Minnesota, which is predominantly white, right? So I grew up in a predominantly white area. My lady, who's also Black, she grew up in a white household because she was adopted when she was a baby. So I honestly think that having just been raised in white families and raised in white communities, that we just have a little different perspective than some other folks from other communities, because in our mind, ownership was always taught. In our mind, words like equity and insurance and, whatever, it was taught. So we have this inherent like, I mean, at some point I'm gonna get it. So, I mean, me and my lady had an argument one time years ago, and I remember her telling me, like, during the argument, I don't remember what the argument was about, but she just finally calmly looks at me and she's like, just because you keep telling me no doesn't mean I can't have it. Just means you're not gonna help me get it. And I mean, she's a powerful woman in her own right. Like she's a boss. But when she said that to me, I'm like, now that is perspective.
Yep.
And like, I still keep that with me to this day. Like every time I'm feeling really discouraged and like, I'm dealing with another person and they're not willing to help me. All right, well, I'm gonna go find somebody who will.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna be the person who will. Like,
Yeah, that part.
How did that moment change then in your mindset of?
It articulated what I needed to hear at the time.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, all right. This is the person I'm gonna raise my son with, my kids with. And I'm watching her be like, yeah, no, your kids are never gonna have an excuse that is adequate. Now she's in the military, so maybe that's some military training too, but she's like, no, this is what it is. If this is what it is, that's what it's gonna be. It might be a convoluted solution later on, but it's happening.
Yep. I love that.
I like her.
Oh man, I love her. She's way out of my league too, man. So I'm a lucky man.
So when do you, I think so if people are listening in and, they haven't even had conversations about, generational wealth and they haven't, you were able to see it, right? For example, Christopher. But for the people who are listening who've never even saw it, who are just trying to make it day to day, and now here we are on this podcast today, they're trying to figure out how to pay their utility this month and we want to talk about generational wealth. Like, what do you say? Like, how do we even begin this conversation? I think it was really good to start with the history, to know that you were set up to fail, but that you can win. But where do you start?
I would say it has to start with mindset. And let's be clear too, right? Like most Americans have witnessed wealth on some level, wealth that is beyond their level of wealth, right? But having grown up in because I grew up poor, right? Like I just happen to be in a white neighborhood. So, all right. So I see a lot of kids who aren't poor, who are going to their grandparents' cabin on the weekend, who get to go to the beach and be on a boat, who get brand new shoes, who don't trade clothes with their friends, the little things, right? But I would say that the mindset shift has to be there. Like to the statement that my lady made. Just because you said no doesn't mean I can't have it.
Yes.
So I think that you have to see it in your mind and know and believe it, like with all your heart. Like you got to really believe that it can happen for you.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're going to quit.
Yep. That's so good.
I like what you shared. I'll just share a little story of growing up. So my teenage years, my mom, she packed us up from Philadelphia and moved us to North Carolina. I hated it, but I got my exposure there. You were talking about a lack of exposure, but I got my exposure there. We lived in Raleigh, which is the city, and they would bus us all the way to a place called Morrisville. And Morrisville was the suburbs. And it felt like only Black kids that went to the school were the kids on my bus. And they did that for funding reasons, but that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But and I remember every day we would drive through neighborhoods that I would be like, man, I wish I lived here. I wish this was my life. Because we would stop and pick up other kids. And I'd be like, I wish this was my house. I wish I lived there. And I would say for me, it started there. Because I know that they lived different from me, but they were no different than me. So I would say that exposure, and to echo him, that exposure helped shift my mind in my teenage years. Because I don't have it now doesn't mean, or just because I didn't have it then didn't mean I wouldn't have it later. And I thank God I live in one of those neighborhoods that I always wanted to live in, not in North Carolina, but it's a similar environment. But it definitely does start with mindset. And I think that if we can get our kids, and it's not that I don't have hope for the adults, but if we could start with our little ones early and just show them the value of $1, what it looks like to save and not to spend everything all at once, showing them, hey, you might have to deny yourself of this right now, but eventually you'll be able to get that thing that you want. I know we used the reference of giving kids student loans like candy. I would take candy for an example. Like a kid wants to purchase a piece of candy bars are like $2 right now. If we could tell that kid like, hey, save that $2, you know, or if the parents can open up an investment account, you get a stash account. We have one for our kids. I think it's like $5 a month just to have it. But instead of buying birthday presents, just throw that money into a stash account. Just let it grow. And it doesn't just have to be stash. There's other, there's Fidelity. There's other ones. But just throw money into those types of accounts and just start to help them early so that they can be a lot further than we were. So.
One thing I want to add to about what it's going to take to change is this right here. So my first experience going to a place where there were a ton of very well off Black and brown people was the LISC Business Development Conference I got to go to last year. So we're out in Baltimore, D.C. area, right? And I'm there with like hundreds and hundreds of Black and brown business professionals. Everybody from like community developers to grant writers to executive directors. There were business attorneys there. There were financial advisors. There were business consultants. There were all types of business professionals. And it was wild for me to see because we're all here, right? We see the narrative that the media paints about our people. Like, oh, Black women are welfare queens, which is the biggest lie I've ever heard in my life. But Reagan ran with it in the 80s and it's still prevalent today.
Well, we couldn't even get the money. White women got it.
Right. And the idea that Black men or Black people in general are lazy. So like, since we stopped working for free, we just don't work at all. Come on now. But yeah, no, I would say that what it needs to be is people like us doing our very best and then being willing to be visible. And I mean, it's nerve-wracking when you got to get up in front of somebody and give presentations. And I go give presentations to groups like yours. And it's exciting for me. It's exhilarating. When I leave there, I have this amazing feeling. But leading up to it, it's like I'm stressing, planning for this. Like, okay, what do I got to teach them? I got to make sure I'm not trying to overwhelm them and make sure I put it in language that's simple enough that everybody in the audience can grasp something. And that's what other professionals in our roles need to realize is that there's that implied understanding component, right? So when we're talking, like even on this podcast, we need to make sure that everybody listening, I guess we can't assume that everybody listening is on the same level of knowledge.
Right.
So we need to make sure that the lowest level of understanding of finance is discussed so that they can be built up with the rest of the group.
And so I heard mindset first, and then I heard exposure, right? And then kind of communication and language, how we talk about money, right? Or is where you start. And I think that exposure is huge because, you know, if you don't, we're in Duluth, Minnesota right now, and you don't necessarily see a lot of that Black wealth. Where, you know, once I took my kids to Texas and North Carolina, they saw they saw Black lawyers and Black doctors, consultants, housing developers. They saw them living in houses that here in Duluth you might only see white people living in, and so that exposure is huge. And so one of the things that I feel like easily thing you can do is just to drive your kids through neighborhoods. Yes. I remember when I first got to Texas, I drove through a neighborhood like, I want a house here. I'm going to retire here. I want a house here. So it's just driving. And now kids do have a little bit more exposure than we have because of social media.
Right.
But I think it's different. It's still seeing something on the screen. We had TV. We still saw it, but it's something to actually drive through the neighborhoods and see them walking and like, wait, so this is real, you know?
Yeah.
And so exposure, I think, is huge, and mindset is definitely where you start.
Yeah. And we were just talking before we started this, Christopher, like how when you have come to do your classes, like everyone's taking notes, everyone's zoned in because you make it
real,
something that they can.
I'm not selling nothing.
Yeah.
I've already been paid for my time to speak, or I'm volunteering my time to speak. I'm not selling you insurance after the presentation's over. I'm not trying to get you to come get a loan with my company. No offense to anybody. I'm not trying to get you to bring your assets under my management and pay me a fee forever. You know, no offense to any advisors doing that. Like, I got respect for every one of those positions, and there is a reason that those jobs exist because there's absolutely a demand for it. But the bad actors in those industries have exploited too many people for it to be widely trusted. And again, we're living in a capitalist society, so everybody needs to protect their capital, because it's like without it, you can't exist happily and freely in a free society. If it's capitalism, you need some capital, and you need to understand how to manage the capital, and that's just the name of the game.
And I have a hard time talking about myself, but it's another thing that I do, so I'm sorry. I am a certified Freddie Mac Credit Coach, Credit Smart Coach, and it is completely free. To your point, it is. They certify us for free, and we teach for free.
You said Freddie Mac?
Freddie Mac. That's one of the 2 largest investors.
Love it.
But they certify us for free, and we teach for free, and it is everything you need to know about credit, about saving, about budgeting. It is awesome.
Yeah, and you've done that group with our moms too.
Awesome.
That was really good.
So free. It's a lot of free stuff.
I might have to hook you up with somebody else afterwards. I think somebody was looking for a credit coach for another presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I think that, so the next thing I hear is that then you have to just get the information and find out the resources that's available to you in the community.
Yes.
Because sometimes you think that, that it's going to cost you something, or you don't even know where to start. And so I think, to y'all's point, is that just to realize that there are resources and there are free resources. And so if you're just starting from the beginning, I know the first thing that comes to my head is like, where do you start? If you want to start building generational wealth, what is one of the first things you need? The first thing I think of is a budget.
And you're good at that too.
Yeah.
And so, but what would y'all say? So if you got your mindset right, and you've been exposed to it, so now you want it. You want that job, you want that land, you want that house, you want that business. So you've changed it. You got some information, and so personally, what do you do next?
So
You said it. You budget. You have to know what you're bringing in and what's going out, so that you can determine what you can save.
Yeah. I actually started with organization, but I wasn't demonstrated how to be organized, and I didn't have an office job when I was first getting started out. So I didn't have any idea of how to keep track of things, right? So there's a book called The Automatic Millionaire by David Bach. And in there, he outlines a filing system for our paper documents. Now, maybe this is getting a little outdated, right, with most things going digital. But the filing system, you can Google it. It's David Bach, B-A-C-H, filing system. And Oprah had him on her show a long time ago. But it's a filing system so that every document that comes into my household has a place. It's one of 2 things. It's either something that needs to be filed away for later reference if I need it, or it's a bill that needs to be paid. And if it's not getting paid on time, then I'm accruing fees and whatever. So before I even start with the budget, I would start with, well, what does it look like when stuff's coming to you?
Right.
Like, do you got to look at 15 different apps? Do you have any kind of handwritten anything that shows where your expenses are coming from? What are we capturing here? Because without any level of understanding, I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult to put anything together.
That is really good. That is really
So
good.
the first thing is to organize yourself.
100%.
Organize your paperwork. Organize your, but have everything in one place, because you're going to need it all, because the bank is going to ask for it.
And let me tell you, so one thing, this is going to seem ridiculous, but when I first heard that, I was still having anxiety around my money, right? Because I got the $89,000 in debt. So I'm terrified to see what I might find when I open up Pandora's box. So I didn't actually start by cleaning up my finances. The first thing I cleaned was my car. I'm a fresh college grad. I had garbage in my front seat, whatever. So I cleaned my car because that was a step that I was comfortable making. I knew that my life needed to be organized, and that was a simple enough step for me to start. Okay, now I got a little confidence. I got a clean car every morning when I'm going to work. And then I'm going to clean my room. Now I got a clean space where I can come decompress at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, all right, now I'm going to take this next step and I'm going to design this little file cabinet, which is literally just a little plastic bracket with some hanging files and some manila folder. It was like an $8 setup, right? And that was my first filing system. But now I knew I had a place for all the documents, the overwhelming stack of bills and papers in the corners of my house. I knew I could find everything, all my tax documents, all my bank statements, all my insurance paperwork, everything I needed. I knew where it was at least.
And then, so the Emerging Developers program that we were part of, you did a training, and changed the way I think about money. My husband was
Thank
like,
you.
"Thank you, Jesus," because someone had to get through. But you had talked about net worth.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit? That literally changed my mind. And then Deanna was like, you also had shared how that had flipped things for you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Would you mind talking about that? Because I do think people don't fully understand that.
No.
And I didn't.
So Deanna's a bookkeeper, right?
Yep.
She'll tell you that when she's doing a business's budget, it's called a profit and loss statement.
Mm-hmm.
So a profit and loss statement tells a business how much money's coming in, how much money's going out, and whether or not we had a profitable month.
Yeah.
That's what a budget is. So our personal budget tells us how much income's coming into our household, how many expenses are going out, and whether we got extra.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what the budget is.
Yeah.
And everybody, especially in a consumer mindset, is taught about a budget because they got to be able to fit stuff in a budget. A car salesman can fit something in your budget.
Mm-hmm.
A whole life salesperson can fit something into your budget. You know, whoever could fit something into a monthly budget. But if we take a step back and we put it into the balance sheet of a business or a net worth statement for a person, and we start analyzing the actual asset value and the liability or the debt associated with that asset, is there actually any equity or ownership that I retain there, right?
Right.
So a simple example of that is like any account that I have with cash in it, that's an asset. So if I got a checking account with $1,000, it generally doesn't cost me anything to hold cash in a bank, right? If I'm following the rules. So that asset is worth $1,000 to me. Now, if I go get a car with a $25,000 note on it, right? And the car, when I drove it off the lot, is worth $15,000, I just took a $10,000 loss.
Right.
So when I'm driving my old paid for truck and I pull up next to a Maserati now, I'm not like, wow, that dude's balling. I'm like, I wonder how much that payment costs.
Right. Yes. Yes.
So net worth in a nutshell, though, in business terms would be like a balance sheet. So I encourage anybody watching this to write down the word net worth. Well, it's 2 words, net worth, and just Google it. Use AI, research it. Tell me about net worth. Help me understand net worth. How can I calculate my net worth?
Yeah.
But move your mindset from living on a budget to how am I creating wealth? Because your wealth is tracked in your net worth. So if you want to be wealthy, you should understand how to track your wealth. You should understand how to grow your wealth. So net worth is how you're going to start that.
That's so good.
Yeah. It's good because you're not just looking at your cash, but you're looking at the big picture of what's the value of the things that you own, and then also what you owe. And I know for me, a lot of us come from families where because we are the one that's working, people assume that we make the most money. People come to us all the time to borrow money.
Yeah.
And so I never, I think I was telling you I started using the Rocket Money? Where you can put you put all your budget in, your assets and everything. They put it all together. I kind of was keeping it separate personally. I knew better, but it just made me feel better because I had this much in the bank. So I might have this much in the bank, but I got these credit card statements over here. This credit over here, and this is in that business's name. This is in mine. But Rocket Money put it all together.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And so I was like, I ain't got it. It was so easy because you have cash in the bank. Can I borrow $100? Can I borrow? Yeah. $25? Yeah. When you put that in, it tells you that your net worth is 0 and you actually in the negative. It immediately helped me tell people no. Like I do not have it because we shouldn't borrow nothing, right? That we can't risk getting it back anyway, And so that it really helped me say I do not have it because if I still own on my car, I don't got it. Like I owe this money out, so I don't have any money to borrow. I owe it to somebody.
Yeah.
So keep going on that, right? So to make this a positive statement in the best sense of the word, right? If you're moving from a budget mindset to a net worth or wealth mindset, that's what's going to create the wealth.
Right.
And when a business owner gets introduced to the idea of a balance sheet rather than just the profit and loss statement, you can see the wheels start turning in their brain. But if you think about it from a personal standpoint, if I got a little bit of money left in my budget, right, every month, and I'm moving it over to my savings account, if the only thing I'm babysitting is my budget, I never see what happens to the money that I saved. Is that money in my savings account still mine?
Right.
Of course it is, right? I just chose not to spend it today.
Yep.
So when I'm teaching kids about finance, it's like, okay, so if you got a budget and you save the money, where's it at in your budget? It ain't in there. So no wonder it's hard for people to save when they're not looking at the other half of their finances. So now I move this $200 over to my net worth statement, right? And I put it in my checking account or my savings account or my Roth IRA or my other investment accounts, right? that $200 increases my net worth.
Yeah.
So now every 2 weeks, instead of, oh, I got all these bills to pay, it's every 2 weeks my net worth just went up.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 weeks later, I get paid. My net worth went up. And 2 weeks later, I get paid. And my net worth went up. And it's a whole different payday system versus like adults right now, right? We go to work, get paid, spend the money, ask where the hell it went, right? Get paid, spend it, ask where the hell it went. And you do that every 2 weeks for 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
That's a system that's set up for failure, right?
Yeah.
You got to look at the other half of the finances. So I'm really glad that you brought up the net worth thing. I talk about it in every presentation. I really focus in on that. In my mind, it's more important than credit. It's more important than your budget. Your budget is really just a line item in my mind. Like, do I have extra or not? And if I don't, then I need to increase my income or decrease my expenses.
Yeah. And you have to assign it. You have to assign every dollar, unless you have to give it a place to go, unless it will go. You know, so I think that's the other. I love that Dave Ramsey app. It's the green one. It's free. What is that?
Every dollar.
Every dollar.
Yep.
You know, and I always start that. If you don't want to do it on black and white, then download an app like that, or you know, a Rocket Money or
Google
Dave
Sheet,
Ramsey or
Excel.
something.
Yeah.
Yes, and just see your money. Where's it at? And get your check stub, because if you want to go from your grosses with what you make before anybody take it out, you should start from there. You should know how much you're paying for your health insurance. You should know how much you're paying for taxes and all of that stuff, and not just with your net. Like, look at the whole big picture, and then assign every dollar and pay yourself first. You know, no matter what you're doing, just like, you know, I'm a tither, so I believe in tithing and then paying myself. And that's money I don't see. It don't come into my checking account. And so, but I think it's the same thing. I think you do when you talk about net worth, how you get that, because regardless of whether you're bringing home $2,000 every 2 weeks or $200, pay yourself, whether that's 5%, 10%, 1%, just start with something, because it's just like making your bed every day. It's just about working that muscle, just doing it, and start building up and building up and building up.
Habits more important than the amount. 100%. Yes, I agree with that.
To just do it.
Did you have anything else? I have another. I want to.
Oh, go ahead.
Go into Christopher. We had just talked about that you have a goal to help 100 Black or BIPOC men become.
No, that's anybody.
Okay, anyone.
Yeah,
okay.
no, I was raised by women,
families
so
reach financial freedom. So tell us about that, and like, what is that goal, and why 100 families?
Seemed like an easy enough number. 1,000 seemed like, all right, man, well, I might only live for 100 years. I'm already got 38 of them behind me. The goal to make 100 Black and brown millionaires before I die was just, I just want to be able to get to my creator and my ancestors and have them tell me, we saw what you did. Well done. We're proud of you. You know, I know that, I mean, once you've done the history, right, it's easy for us to look back and see, okay, so all of these people wanted people who look like us to not make it. And I made a dent. And if I can get 100 and they can even just get 3 to 5 apiece, well, that's a few hundred one generation later. And then they can get 3 to 5 apiece. Well, now I'm at my 1,000. Yeah. 2 generations deep. So I understand the power of compounding now that I look at my net worth.
Yeah. That's amazing.
So let's talk about, you know, some of the ways to build generational wealth. And we know that one of the best ways is through homeownership, right? So let's talk about that. So I want to make sure that we're leading up to this. So we've talked about where they are with, you know, with their mindset, communication, information. We've talked about organizing. They're organizing, they're budgeting, they've saved some money. You know, they've got information about programs that help with down payment assistance, especially for first-time home buyers, and things like that. So why should people want to own a home? Like, why?
And I think, too, like, I feel like there's a lot of, like, I just read an article that the home ownership across the board is at its lowest because millennials and people who are younger just want to rent and put their money elsewhere. And so the understanding of why, like...
Or is it still relevant?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just curious what y'all think.
I saw something on social media where someone said everybody is screaming that you need to be a homeowner, but if you miss a payment, you're going to foreclose. So you might as well rent. And what I want to say to that, I'm not going to go back and forth on anybody who wants to rent. If you want to rent, that is wonderful. The way that they are putting up these apartments and how beautiful they're looking, sometimes I side eye. But at the end of the day, what you gain from home ownership, number one, if you are a person of color or Black or brown person, you get ownership. That's something that a lot of our ancestors were not able to have. Imagine working for someone for years and years and years for free, and then you're finally set free and you have nothing. And then for you to work and work and work and work again and still not be able to own anything. So many people died with nothing. And so ownership it's something that our ancestors have longed for. So from that perspective, it's one. Also, if I miss a mortgage payment, there are ways to work with my lender so that I could get an extension, or, it's not just immediate foreclosure like it would be if you were in an apartment, immediate eviction. So that also, I want to talk about the equity. Real estate has proven time and time and time again that you grow, your equity grows. You're not losing unless you're just not doing anything to your property's decaying. But if you're maintaining your property, you're going to grow in equity. And as I said earlier, you can do a cash out refinance. You can pull from that equity. You can send your children to college. Or you can pull from the equity. You could do updates. You could do whatever you want. You can pull from the equity and purchase a rental property to generate more wealth. Your home is going to work more for you if you own one as opposed to renting one. Also, unfortunately, it's just the way it is. When you're a homeowner, you look more stable. Why does that matter? It matters in a lot of places. When you want to get credit, if you want to go out for certain positions, it matters. If it helps your credit, you have this installment loan, and if you're making your mortgage payment properly on time, you're boosting your credit month over month. The importance of credit is you have the ability to get more money, of course, at a fee. But I'm just.
Real estate was my cheat code.
Yeah.
It really was. Yeah. And I mean it on so many different levels, from the equity, absolutely. I cash out refi to help pay off some of my student loan debt early on, to get rid of some of the higher interest ones. And that was when interest rates were super low. So I cut my interest rate on this chunk of money over here that's like 7-8%. And I put it into a house, which is collateralized asset, right? So I got something now. Yeah. So the bank gives me a much better interest rate. And I still got the debt in theory, but I'm paying less in interest on it. And now I got a smaller uncollateralized debt over here. But the reason that real estate was my cheat code was because before I started learning about personal finance, I graduated from college with my student loan debt. I went and did what most college students do, which is get a car, right? So I got a big boy job. I need a big boy whip. So I went and got my car. And then my mom and my aunt had been staying. My mom was staying in government subsidized housing over in the courts. And then my aunt was staying in this little 1-bedroom shack behind a gas station that I honestly don't even think it exists anymore because it looked condemnable when she lived there. So they were asking me after I graduated college, like, hey, will you buy this house so that we can live in it? We'll pay the mortgage. Well, okay. Buy the house. My mom stays there. My aunt ends up jetting. But I'm paying half the mortgage. My mom's paying half the mortgage. Well, my mom was paying $900 a month for her rental, plus all the utilities. My house mortgage was like $1,200 a month with all the utilities. Because back at that time, right, I bought a $115,000 house, and the interest rate was like 3.9% or something. So I used my FHA, first-time home buyer, and now I'm house hacking. I got my mom who's got some debt and not a lot of income, paying about half of what she was paying at her last spot to stay at this house. I'm staying with a girlfriend at the time anyway. So I'm only paying half the mortgage. And I'm not living there with my mom. So she gets her own house. She's paying half. I'm paying the other half. I'm building equity. And then I started learning about finance, and I'm like, oh, okay. So then I start learning how to leverage this asset, right? Because to her point here, the property's value is going to go up over time,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If I had bought a house in 1980, could I buy that same house right now for the same price?
No.
The answer is no. If I had bought a house in 2000, could I buy that same house in the same spot right now for the same price?
Mm-hmm.
The answer is no. So it's going to appreciate in value. It's going to be worth more 10, 20 years from now. But on top of that, while we're making our payment, we're building our equity as well, because now we're paying down the loan that we owe to the bank.
Right.
So the gap between what we owe and what it's worth just keeps growing and growing and growing. And then if we do something like start renting it out like I am with that house, now I have a little bit of cash flow. I'm pretty nice to my tenants, so I only charge them like $100 more than I have to pay. But the difference is they're paying the mortgage for me. I'm building equity. They're paying off the loan, and I get to write the interest off as a business expense now.
Yes, you do.
So it's a whole different ballgame when I own assets than if I'm renting and I'm just trying to grow my cash in my account.
Mm-hmm.
Like acquiring assets of any kind. And since I'm on the topic of assets, you mind if I steal the show for a minute?
Go for it.
The order of operations for importance in assets in my mind, right? We're going to have cash. Cash is the first and quickest, easiest, most obtainable asset we can get. And the way that we can get that, a job, right? The next asset we're going to have is probably going to be stocks. And the easiest place for us to purchase stocks would be in a 401k that is offered by our employer, right? Most employers will do a match up to 3 to 5%. Well, that's 100% return on your investment if they're going to match it. Now, a dollar for dollar match. So I save 3%, you match 3%, cool. That's a no-brainer. So now I got cash working for me. I got stock investment working for me, right? And then I go and I start getting strategic. Now, do I want to take...
I want to add to this. So if your job don't add to it, you can do like a Vanguard account or a Fidelity account. You can start those accounts for like $50.
Yep. And specifically, when you're going there, if you're going to start your first investment account, I recommend a Roth, an ROTH IRA. Because in a Roth, anything that you contribute, you can take out. So if you got cash in your checking account and you got cash in a savings account and you got cash in a Roth IRA, now you have 3 levels of savings protecting you from any kind of emergency or drama. Now you're supposed to leave the earnings, right? The interest that you earn in the account alone until you're 59 and a half. But the cash that you put in there, it was after-tax dollars. So that's your money. You could take it out tomorrow if you want. So now it's like, okay, so you're a young person. You put cash in your account, you pay your bills. You get the 401k match or you don't. And then you got the Roth IRA here. Now you got levels of protection. You're already creating such a strong financial household that your kids don't got to worry about taking care of you, to your point earlier, right? So real generational wealth may not be me paying for my kid to go to college, because I'm not going to. I got a 19-year-old and a 14-year-old. They already know. Nobody paid for my college. Nobody paid for your mom's college. You're paying. Like, your blessing is me. Like, here's the reality. I'm a parent that you're never going to have to provide for. I'm demonstrating everything that you'll need to know about finance. If you got any questions, I'm here for you, right? Like, this is the blessing. The blessing is your freedom. The only person you got to worry about is you, right? So, but back to my story about assets, right? So we got our cash, we got our stocks, and at this point, we're moving through our milestones, right? Maybe our first milestone is getting $1,000 in savings, and our next milestone is getting $10,000 between savings and investments. Well, our third milestone is obviously going to be $100,000 then. How do I get to that all evasive $100,000 net worth? Well, it's probably going to come through owning real estate or starting a business and then using the cash from the business to invest in cash and stocks. You with me? So if we don't overcomplicate this, right? It's cash, stocks, business ownership, and real estate. Those are the 4 areas that almost every millionaire that you know is working through to get to their wealth. So step by step, let's follow the process, right?
Let's follow the process.
I know.
And I think to add to that, because sometimes you start doing all that and then you have an emergency. The car break down, somebody in your family about to get evicted. The kids need something, graduation. And so I will say one of the first things you do in that saving is to get that emergency fund. Because that emergency, I find it is what takes people out every time. And so it's so important. And people say different things. Some people say you should have, emergency fund for your living expenses for the next 90 days or 6 months, whatever it is. But just start with a 30-day emergency fund. Even if you start with $500 for your car. A lot of times people don't have enough money. What did they say for a $500 crisis?
Yeah.
So you start with $500. $500 crisis will usually fix the car if it break down. Whatever your kid's big expense that come up, they didn't tell you about. It'll usually handle that.
Yep.
When somebody in the family call crying, they just usually need $100, $200. If you decide that's what you're gonna do, because that's who you are, usually that $500. And I keep mine on a Chime account. And when that money is gone, it's gone. So whether the whole family put it back in there or not, I think I saw the other day, y'all down to $142 if you listen. Because when it's gone, it's gone. And so, but I do think that that's very important. Is what I want to add to this conversation is the emergency fund, because I feel like it'll put a pin and it'll stop the momentum. But you budget for that, you prepare for that, because we know life be life and life is going to happen. So just prepare for it.
Yeah.
And how I don't got it. Yes, you do. So what does that mean? For a month, we're not getting our nails done, or 3 months, we're not getting our nails done. We're doing our own hair. We're not going to Starbucks. We're gonna babysit instead of going. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm a skill, but I'll babysit y'all kids for $50. So we figure out other way. We got some stuff. We got some purses, some shoes, and stuff we're not wearing. We selling it. And so we're very creative people. Yeah, there's different things you can do with as a culture, as a community. We're very creative. What are your gifts? What are your talents? Somebody needs it. Yeah. Sell it. Do it. And figure out ways to bring extra income in to get that emergency fund or to get you started, to pay that debt down. And there's all kind of stuff we're not going to get into with Dave Ramsey with the snowball method and how do you pay it. There's plenty of people and programs around here to help you. Even with the homeownership, there's classes, on your credit. And so right now in this generation and this day and time, it's all Google away.
Yeah.
And so it's there. Don't be intimidated by it. Use it. You have the right to it. It's yours. And you're worth it. You deserve it. Your children deserve it. And it's nothing like having something to leave to someone else.
Yeah. Well,
and they're watching you. Your kids are watching you, or kids, your parents are watching you. You can be the first generation. You can be the role map.
Yeah. So I want to say to your point about the internet is a beautiful place, and I use it for everything. So when you hear a tidbit, a nugget, use Google, use YouTube, use AI, but don't ever stop using books.
Yes.
The understanding of that somebody took a lifetime of gathered information and applied experience. They cleaned it up. It was edited. It was published, step by step, methodology. You can't replace that with an abyss of information, because the problem is what we're going to get out of the internet and what we're going to get out of AI is only as good as what we ask. So if I ask, how do I get rich? I mean, that's a pretty vague, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Now, if you start staying in your lane, like, okay, how can I leverage real estate to build individual wealth? Significantly better response is going to happen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
How can I find a high income job so that I can start building my personal wealth, or what are the highest paying income jobs in this area or in this industry,
or how to
right?
tailor my resume to be attractive for those high paying jobs.
So to the point about the internet, yes, use all the tools and resources that we have in this day and age, which makes it a way, way easier step than any of our ancestors ever had.
Yeah.
Right? Because we got access to information that only librarians or wealthy individuals with the Encyclopedia Britannica set, had. But use books. Use books. And if you're gonna use a book and you're strapped for cash starting out, you can go to a public library, get a public library card. You can download the Libby app, Libby, Libby app, and you can listen to all the audiobooks in that library system for free.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So you just eliminated a lot of excuses.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we're going to do a quick rapid fire. Go ahead.
Yeah.
First.
Just to kind of end with a few questions. What would you say to someone who feels it's too late to start?
It's never too late. The fact that your creator allowed you to open your eyes this morning is another chance. It's never too late.
That's good.
You got to forgive yourself. Like the hardest part for most of us when we make a mistake is feeling like we destroyed everything that we've built up to this point. The reality is that's mostly an emotional feeling. It's not the reality. If we step back from ego or
Mhm.
fear or anxiety, whatever it is we're feeling. And we just forgive ourselves for not being perfect,
Yeah.
for doing the best we could under the circumstances with what we had at the time. And then taking ownership and responsibility for
Right.
how I'm going to proceed moving forward.
Yeah.
If it's going to be, it's up to me, right?
Yep.
That's good.
What would you tell your younger self about money?
You a damn fool.
You know what? I was the opposite. I'm working through it. I am so frugal that I actually miss opportunities. So make a decision. Be decisive. Work on making decisions a lot quicker. And
That's good.
so I tell myself.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, hurry up and fail so we can figure out what works. I like that. No, I'm not gonna steal that. I would say if I had to tell my younger self something, it would be to learn. You're lacking nothing. Use what God gave you. Figure out what you need to know from whoever knows it. Somebody knows it.
Yeah.
There's 7 billion people today and all the people that came before us. Somebody wrote it down. Somebody answered the question or the struggle that you're going through right now. Find the answer to the problem that you're having right now because it's out there.
Yeah. And I would say that, you know what, you deserve it. You can have it. You have the right to it. And believe in your own self.
Yeah.
Encourage your own self. You know? That's what I would say. All right, finish this sentence. Financial freedom starts when?
I always tell my kids in my classes that it's Florida University money, F.U. You know what I'm saying? So when I'm at the point where I can confidently be like that and walk away for maybe 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from the job that I hate, from the situation that I hate, when I got enough capital under my management to look at you and be like, Florida University, I'm out of this joint. I'm going to go find something else. And I got 3, 6, 9, 12 months to figure out what the next move is. That's when freedom is like, when you have options, bro, you got some freedom.
That's good.
That's good.
So mine is like a slogan. It starts when you decide.
Yeah. It starts when you decide.
Oh, I like that. A lot quicker.
No, but I like the Florida U money.
I know.
Toddy, I want to ask you these last two questions too, though. What would you tell your younger self about money? And finish the sentence, financial freedom starts when?
I'm still learning. I feel like my younger self, that it's good to have a discipline. I feel like I am really my husband is really financially minded, and all the things you're talking about, he's done for us. And so, but I've been on the other side. I've experienced, death of parents and things like that. And so my mindset has been, you got to live now because tomorrow is not promised. And that's not financially sustainable.
But look at who you're paired with.
Yes,
it's the balance.
Exactly. It's been a really good balance. And so I'm learning now in where I'm at. Discipline is good. And it's okay to do the things you want to do. But you got to be able to have that everything you're talking about with the assets and the net worth. And so it's okay to be financially stable. It's good.
If I can give one more answer to that too.
Yeah.
So when you start tracking your net worth, what you'll realize is that the balances in your accounts are earning interest for you. And that's a huge switch from when you're living off the credit mindset and you're just trying to pay your bills and you're paying interest on your bills, right? Your debts. And you all of a sudden have a checking account or a brokerage account with Vanguard or Fidelity that's paying you 3% interest every month. And then you got a Roth IRA that's paying you an average of 10% a month and a 401k averaging 10% a month. And then after a while, what's going to happen is commas start showing up in these accounts. And the interest that you're earning every year on those balances starts to be a big enough number. And if you take the balance and you multiply it by the interest, that's how much you're earning without any effort, with zero effort, right? That is a whole different mindset, and it liberates you in a way that nothing else like it can. The interest is owed to me, not by me. And that's the mind. It's hard to shift from that mindset back to being poor.
Yeah.
So I think even if they came and took all your resources away, now you would be like, oh, this ain't how interest is supposed to work. I don't care. Credit be damned.
Yeah.
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 That's good.
That's so good.
So what's your, you all get what's your final word that you would say to people about building generational wealth? Just anything for far as anything.
Make it simple. It's overwhelming with so much on the internet. There are only two things you need to track: your budget and your net worth. And your budget consists of your income and your expenses. Your net worth consists of your assets and your liabilities. Rewind this section, do that over again. Budget, net worth, income, expenses, assets, liabilities. I'm teaching you the language of finance. Go use the internet and the resources, the books, take personal responsibility for it. But just remember, bring it back, right? It's simple. There's only a couple of things I got to track.
Yeah.
Everything he said, of course, because you are amazing. I just want you to know that.
I appreciate you.
I would add, I tell myself this when I'm faced with hard things. I do what I have to do in order to do what I want to do. So sometimes you have to be very disciplined, and it's frustrating and it hurts, and you want to go on that trip, or you want to, make that purchase of your dream car. But if that's going to interfere with your goal, then you just got to table it and just stay the course. And I believe that if it's for you to have, or if it's for you to do or go, it's going to come right back around when the time is right. So,
And if you're listening to this, it's coming for you.
Yeah.
it's coming.
Yeah.
And I would just add to be a good steward over what you have.
Yeah.
Because I believe that when you take care of what you have, you'll be blessed with something better. Like I was just looking at my car this morning, my back seat, and I'm like, okay, I know I want a new Lexus. I'm turning 50. So let me clean out this
You
back
look
seat.
amazing for your age, man. That black
Let
don't
me
crack.
clean out. I got all this work stuff in the back seat. I'm like, let me clean out the back seat of this Ford. Because I do believe in the house you got. It might not be the house you want, but start somewhere. Start with a starter house. That's how you. But be a good steward over it, over your stuff, over your houses, over your cars, over your finance, what you've been blessed with. Might not be making what you want to make, but do right by that, and I'm telling you, it will multiply.
It will.
Yeah.
Be a good steward.
That's so good.
Toddy.
No, I'm
That's
just
good.
listening. I'm still learning and listening, so that's where we're at. But this has been wonderful. Thank you both so much for joining us.
Oh my God, man,
Thank
this
y'all.
has been awesome.
Yes.
But I was
Y'all
good to see you.
Yes, yes.
The boss herself.
I
I'm
know.
over here,
The
and I'm like, man, one
legend.
day I hope I grow up to be like
I
Deanna.
know. We all do.
Yes. Well, thank y'all so much. This has been so good. I'm sure we'll do a part two.
Yep.
We appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And so if you have any questions today, because I can only imagine your head is probably just going, please put your questions in the comments and we will be sure to answer them. So if you have any questions today, if you need any resources, if you have any questions, please just put them in the comments and somebody will definitely get back to you with some information and a resource. Thanks for being with us today. If something spoke to you, please share this with a friend who you think could really benefit from this episode. And remember, to help our show grow and reach more people just like you, make sure to follow the show and leave a 5-star review. And if you want to continue to have critical and courageous conversations, well, then we'll see you in the next episode.